Hi, everybody. It's the top of the hour. I want to welcome you to our ARVIC, our Virtual Insights Conference. Just a few ground rules before we let our presenters start. First and always, as you well know, over the last 2 years, we've definitely been at the mercy of technology. So hopefully nothing will go wrong, but you never know with Zoom and fun stuff like that. Second ground rule for this conference and generally for life is to be respectful of our presenters and of each other. And then please take the opportunity to network, engage, and interact with one another as well as our presenters. If you have questions, you can send them through the chat or the Q&A feature on here, and we will field some questions at the end if there are any. With that, I would like to introduce Dr. Marcus Cunha. He's a professor of marketing and the director of the Masters of Marketing Research program at the University of Georgia, and Julie and Katie, two MMR candidates at University of Georgia. And I will hand over to you guys.
Oh, thank you, Courtney. And let me go ahead and share our screen here. So we have a few interesting results of our research on research project that we conducted here in the MMR program. First, I'd like to thank Bill and Accelerant Research for inviting us. I've been doing this for 3 years now. I think I was in the very first one. I presented by myself then, and the past couple of years, we've been presenting with our students. So it's a great opportunity for us for the students to get experience as presenters, and also for us to showcase the kind of talent that we are training here in the MMR program to offer to the industry in terms of professionals of market research and consumer insights. So Bill always allows me to plug the MMR program. So if you are not aware of our program was founded in 1979. The first class graduated in 1981. So we are in our 40s, but we are not in a midlife crisis. We're recognized internationally by producing top talent and being the gold standard in terms of producing professionals of research and insight. So whether you are interested in hiring research talent, or you know somebody who wants to start this career, the MMR program will be a great place for you to contact us. So another plug that I have for the MMR program is that we have a research summit called the Future of Insights Summit. Okay, so in this summit we run every 2 years. And Bill and his team have been to the summit in the past, and I talked to him the other day. He's coming back and bringing some of members of his team, and potentially also sponsoring, right, Bill? So if you want to learn more, so it's in August 10th and 11th. On the 10th, we're going to have workshops where we're going to do workshops on max diff and conjoint analysis, both for suppliers and clients from, using these techniques from a supplier standpoint and from a client standpoint, and also on marketing metrics. And then on the 11th, we will have our presentations. We have a call for speakers out that is due on May 6th. So if you have something you'd like to present, go ahead and submit it. If you can, if you go to the website, mmrfoi.com. You have the opportunity to learn more about the program and our sponsors, and registration information, and the call for speakers. So now that I plugged the MMR program and our summit, I would like to hand the presentation over to Julia and Katie, two of our very top students here in the MMR program. So you guys take over.
Thank you, Marcus. Thanks, Marcus. All right. So we just wanted to introduce ourselves real quick before we get into things. Like Dr. Cunha said, we're Katie and Julia, went to the University of Georgia for our undergrad, got a degree in marketing, and now we're here for the MMR program. Do you have anything to add about yourself?
Wanted
you'd like to share?
Wanted to stay one more year. We couldn't leave Athens, and this program was definitely worth it. So very excited to be here and be presenting today.
That's right. Okay, so to kind of get into our research, we conducted an A/B test to determine if survey results are impacted by the number of days of survey fielding. In the MMR program, we're very fortunate to be able to talk to many industry professionals just coming and sharing about their experiences within marketing research. And so we noticed a common thread of saying how oftentimes their projects have very short timelines. We want the data yesterday. So this made us wonder, is this an issue within the industry? Is there a trade-off between the speed of fielding and data quality? So we also are wondering, is this causing researchers to potentially miss part of the target population? So that led us to our ultimate research question: does the number of days in field impact the results of a survey?
Great. So in order to answer this research question, we decided to run an A/B test where half of the respondents were collected over a 1-day period and half were collected over a 7-day period. And then overall, we had 205 responses, where in the 1-day fielding, we had 100 participants. And in the multi-day fielding, we had 105, where we collected 15 responses each of the 7 days, which included that 1-day fielding. So we only collected 15 for that group on that 1 day. And the survey everyone saw was consistent. They all saw the same exact survey. The only conditions were that it was between a 1-day and a 7-day. So they were grouped into those respective fielding conditions.
So yes, our methodology was a survey, and we used AYTM's panel of respondents to field the data. And as you can see, it was a brief survey, just 7 questions. So the first 3 questions asked respondents about their consumption habits and asked about their most recent brand that they consumed of soft drink. And then for the bottom 4 questions, we referenced the Marketing Skills Handbook and found a previous study that was conducted that recommended certain questions and scales to use for beverage product evaluation. So those asked about how pleasant it was while drinking the beverage, how attractive the color of the beverage was, how tasty, and how much they liked it overall.
All right, so jumping into the results of the data, when comparing the 2 data collection periods, we found no statistically significant differences between the results of the single day and the multi-day fielding for all 7 of the questions. So for questions 1 through 3, which Julia just said were consumption and the brands they consumed, we ran a chi-squared test and we found that there were no statistically significant differences across those conditions. And then looking at the means of the scales that we had for question 6, which was how tasty was it for you? Question 7, how much did you like the beverage, and things like that. So we went through those and compared the means through ANOVA. And as you can see, question 6, there was almost no difference at all. For Q7, the multi-day was a tiny bit larger by 0.03. For Q8, the single day was a little bit larger by 0.04, and for Q9, the multi-day was just a tiny bit less by 0.02. So no real significant differences there.
So because overall we did not find significant statistical significant differences across the number of days of fielding, we wanted to dive deeper into the data to see if there were significant differences between subgroups. And so when slicing the data by gender, we were able to observe a few differences for a few of the questions, even with a small sample. So first, we found that there is a difference between the gender and the average ratings for how much they like the beverage across the fielding conditions. Females seem to have a higher mean average in the multi-day condition, whereas the males seem to have a higher mean average for the single-day condition. Within the multi-day, we did find that there is a significant difference between the means of males and females, so that's a 0.44 difference. And then the single day, it's not significant, it's just a 0.1 difference. But overall, females have a higher mean average in the multi-day, and males have a higher mean average in the single day.
Great. And so for looking at Q1, which was the average weekly consumption of soft drinks, when slicing between male and female, we found some significances between males. And so 44% of males said they drink less than 1 soft drink a week. during the multi-day period, and 55.6% said they drink one soft drink a week in the in the multi-day period. So the multi-day was slightly larger in that preference. And then a larger proportion of males in the single day condition said that they drink 1 to 5 soft drinks per week than in the multi-day condition. So for the single day, it was 61.4% of males said they select 1 to 5 drinks per week. And then in the multi-day, 38.6% said that they selected 1 to 5 soft drinks per week. So then, as a fun fact, we ran a turf analysis to see how you can best reach soft drink consumers. And we found that you can reach 96.6% of soft drink consumers by focusing on taste of the beverage, how its ability to quench thirst, and how convenient it is when advertising and in your marketing communications. So then we did find that there is no difference between genders in the different conditions for the first choice attribute. However, we did find a difference for the second choice attribute. In the multi-day condition, females 45% rated it taste as second important, but then in the single day, 55% rated taste as second important attribute. So we did find that difference there. All right, and for some implications, as we said, there were some instances where there was an interaction between the gender and the number of fielding days. So with this being said, if gender differences do not impact your industry with which you are conducting research, fielding days may not affect your results based off of our research. But if you do work in an industry where genders do impact the way people purchase or things like that, then fielding days may have an effect on your research. So make sure to ask yourself, do gender differences matter in this industry as a function of fielding? So then to review a few limitations of our study, these results are industry specific as we were asking respondents about their soft drink preferences. So it cannot be extrapolated to other industries or product categories. So important to keep that in mind. Additionally, these results were fielded in January of this year. So there's a potential that the time of year could have played a role in their responses. People could have just made a New Year's resolution and been trying to drink less soda. It was winter in the United States, so they could have been swayed by the temperature outside. If the survey was sent out in the summer, they might have said that they drink more soda in the summer. So the time of year could have impacted their responses. And then finally, like I mentioned earlier, this was a very brief survey. It was a 7-question survey, so there's a potential that a longer survey could have led to more reliable data or different results. So with that, that's our presentation. We're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah. We also like to reinforce the students' point that we're not making a blanket statement that, the way you filled your survey, multi-day versus single day does not affect the data. We would say we would need a much more extensive study. We need multiple product categories, different times of the year, longer and shorter surveys, and a lot more sample in order to be able to provide a broader scope of understanding of the impact of number of fielding days on our research. Also, this is part of some of the things we do here. We train the students mostly to do industry research, but our goal is also for the students not be like, let's just apply what's out there. We wanted the students to learn how to think critically. It's like, are the methods that I'm using appropriate for this kind of research? Is there or anything I can do differently? We don't want our students just blindly, this is what everybody else is doing, we should just do that. No, we wanted them to critically think and say, for this type of research, for this type of industry, for this type of research problem, what's the best set of tools that I can use? We don't want the students just say I learned these tools, now let me go apply them. Even if I don't have a use for it, I'll build a wall just so I can use my tool, right? We really want them to think and learn and question the methods and improve the methods. The past year, if some of you were at our presentation, we did a project where we tested whether presenting the scales in ascending order, labeling in ascending order, for example, from dissatisfied to satisfied, or whether rating from descending order, satisfied to dissatisfied, or whether the scales are presented horizontally or vertically affect your results. For the most part, what the finding that we saw is that it only affects for the people who fail the red herring question, the attention check. For the people who do not fail the attention check, it didn't really matter how you present your scale. So also, if you have any ideas, anything that's intriguing you, any other questions, we're always doing these projects. We have the support of AYTM to use their panel to work on our project. So any ideas that you might have would be interesting for us to explore. I would like to hear from you. Now, if you guys, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, just say if there's any questions, we will be.
Yeah, we have one question from an anonymous attendee. They were wondering if reminders were sent in the 7-day survey.
No, there were no reminders. It was just that the way the survey was deployed through a YTM. So every day they said there's, the survey is available, and they capped at 15 slots for each day.
Okay. And then, I just had a question. I was wondering what days of the week. So the 1-day survey, when did it start? And so what days of the week did it start on? And
I believe we started on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The day one will start on a Wednesday. So that day we collect 100 responses for the 1-day condition and 15 responses for the multi-day condition. And then for the following 6 days, we collected 15 data points for each of those days.
I was just curious because I know we see differences on days of the week and things like that. Megan, question from Megan, she wanted to know if both AB cells balance to the US Census.
They were not. And I know one potential concern of not doing that is that because it's multi-day versus single day, is that we cannot fully randomly assign people to experimental conditions. So that's one limitation that we have to live with.
Like all surveys, we have limitations.
Yes.
I was just wondering if there's any more questions. To go along with my day of the week one, were they all sent at the same time of day?
Say it again.
Were the surveys sent at the same time of day?
They were made available for people to complete at the same time of day every day.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like 9 a.m. she opened it.
At 9 a.m. Yeah, it was open at 9 a.m. every day.
Okay. John asks, did you ever look at any of the single days from the multi-day survey and compare that to just the single day?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question, something we thought about it. The issue is statistical power, right? Because we only have 15 data points on each day of the week. It would be very hard to show any results because of sample size. Yeah. So if we could do like this sample, if we could multiply the sample by 10-fold, we would be able to do, because then we have at least 150 respondents for each day, and then we could compare day of the week. But one thing we could do, we could at least look at trends over the days for some measures, see if the trend vary across days.
Okay, are there any other questions from anyone else? We'll just give you a few minutes to see if there's any more questions that come in. I do want to say thank you very much. That was very good. I always enjoy the student presentations. I asked for this one. It's always one of my favorite sections.
Yeah.
Okay, have a question. Could you have kept the day part kept constant as well?
Yeah.
Keep one for morning versus afternoon versus evening.
Yeah, I think that's also a very good point, because we know different segments of the population have availability at different day parts. The issue here was the limited sample size that we had for this project, but that's something that you should definitely take into consideration. So I guess our insight is more like you will not see differences if the survey is about soft drinks and it's if morning people that for people that take the surveys in the morning. But good point. But that's something that if you're worried about this kind of potential biases in your sampling, that those are good questions for you to be asking and to be testing in your data.
Yeah, and especially for us practitioners to remember when we do ours.
Yes.
All right, again, I'll give it a couple of minutes and see if anyone else has anything to ask. Doesn't look like it. I don't see anyone coming in with anything. So again, I want to thank you, ladies. Very nice job. I enjoyed that. Appreciate it. Dr. Cunha, thank you again for doing that. We do have a comment from him that he will be sending his daughter to your school, hopefully. So something to look forward there too. Excellent. So thank you again. I hope everyone has a great afternoon, and Arvik will be back again at the top of the hour. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.